Hey everyone, it's King. Time for another video from me. On the last video, I was always showing people what I bought recently, and the collection is starting to grow now, and I want to just show a few records that I've listened to multiple times and I never get tired of. I guess you could say they're my top dogs. And so I wanted to go through those real fast for you and share them with you. Before we get started, I just want to let you know what's in the background here. One of my favorite prog metal bands. This is Dream Theater. The name of the CD is Octavarium. And the song that just started up right now is the song Octavarium. And I've seen this band in concert about 4 or 5 times, and they are an awesome band. So if you're into metal, if you're into prog or both, you probably already have heard of them, but if you haven't, they are an awesome band. You can't go wrong with any of their albums or CDs. And if you ever get a chance to see them live, they put on an unbelievable show. Great musicians in that band. All right, so let's start with the top dogs there. And I'm a huge Genesis fan. Always have been since I was 15. And I have to say this is my favorite record from them. And we're talking about Seconds Out. This is a live record. It was recorded between the years 1976 and 77. And this is the very beginning, I wouldn't say the beginning, but the first 2 years Phil Collins took over as lead singer, replacing Peter Gabriel. And this has all the classic Genesis songs from the 70s, like Supper's Ready, and Cinema Show, and For the Fifth, and, you know, Lamb Lays Down on Broadway, those songs. You know, this was the early years, and it was just, you know, I think what's cool about this album is it showed Collins can sing the Gabriel songs. And I love the gatefold in this, with various pictures of the band, live photography. This is an awesome album, and I can't tell you how many times I've bought this thing. This is my second time I've buying it on vinyl, because my first vinyl got so worn out. I bought it on cassette, I bought it on CD, and then a couple of years ago, Genesis put out box sets of their entire catalog, remastered in surround sound, so I bought that. So I've bought this record multiple times, and each time, you know, I just never get tired of this record. You'd think I'd be sick of it by now, and every time I put it on, it's like hearing it for the first time. It's that awesome of a record, and I love it. So Seconds Out always gets a lot of play here. This is another favorite band of mine, band I've seen in concert probably the most out of anybody, because they just don't stop touring ever. I saw them this time last year for their Time Machine tour, and I think they're going to be in my area in the next week or so. So this is these guys are machines when it comes to touring, and we're talking about Rush. And my favorite record from them is 2112. Just the all-time favorite Rush album for most hardcore fans of this band. And of course they're on their road period, those funky clothes, but the music's awesome on this record. And you know, besides the whole 2112 side 1 epic, some great songs on side 2, like Passage to Bangkok, The Twilight Zone, and my favorite song on the whole record, for me personally, is Something for Nothing. I just love that song to death, and I've been in a few cover bands over the years, and I've always argued trying to get people to cover it. And I never win because, you know, the singer never wants to sing Geddy Lee, so that puts an end to that. But that is my all-time favorite record. The musicianship from that band on that album and all their albums is just stellar. Another favorite classic rock band of mine is Heart, and Ann Wilson just has the most amazing voice. Nancy Wilson is like my favorite acoustic guitar player, because I love the way she plays acoustic guitar, and the two of them together are amazing. I've seen them live a couple of times recently, and they put on a great show. And is still in great voice, but it's hard for me to pick my favorite Heart album, and my favorite era of the band is from the 70s. So these two records make the list. Dog and Butterfly and Dreamboat Annie. Both great albums. I think if they decided to put a double album out and have this as a double album, I would be in geek heaven. Of course, let's focus on Dreamboat Annie. It has the classic songs Magic Man and Crazy on You and Dreamboat Annie. But there's also a song here called Soul to Sea, which is absolutely breathtaking. And of course, How Deep It Goes, Sing Child Sing, White Lightning and Wine, and I'll Be Your Song. Some great music on this disc, and I have a live video of them singing this in its entirety, which was done a few years ago, and it's an amazing performance. So look, go on Amazon and search for it. It's awesome. And this one right here, Dog and Butterfly. I love this album to death because it shows two sides of Heart. Side one is referred to as Dog, and it has all the fast songs like Straight On and Hijinks. And then side two is referred to as Butterfly, and it has all the more softer, melodic Heart songs, like the song Dog and Butterfly. And the track that closes this album is Mistral Wind. And that is a gorgeous song. It was featured on their live video, Heart Live in Seattle. And it starts off as a real gorgeous sounding acoustic ballad, and then suddenly the song rises to some power. It reminds me a lot of Stairway to Heaven. It kind of has that kind of structure to it, and I just can't say enough about Ann Wilson's voice. She's one of my favorite female singers. Okay, another favorite of mine. These are all classic records, my favorites. I gotta get into more newer music, but it's kind of hard for me. I'm a drummer, so naturally I'm inspired by great drummers. Keith Moon is one of them, and I think he really shows his stuff in a big way on this album. It's my favorite Who record too. It's Who's Next from the Who, and this has all my favorite Who songs. Bob O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again, Bargain, and Behind Blue Eyes. I'm saying Behind Blue Eyes. This to me is what the Who is all about. Most people will say it's Quadrophenia or it's Tommy, but for me, this is my favorite Who record. It doesn't get much better than this for me. I still own Quadrophenia. I still own Tommy. But the keyboard intro to Bob O'Reilly and the keyboard intro to Won't Get Fooled Again, I hear that and I'm instantly inspired. And I gotta check time because YouTube videos only allow to go 15 minutes now, which I don't understand why. Okay, this next one, I'm a big fan of R&B records, and this is my favorite one as well. Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions. A great record from start to finish. Every song on here is a gem. This is one of those stuck on a desert island records. And of course the big songs on here are Living for the City, Higher Ground, which was later covered by Red Hot Chili Peppers. They really got famous off that song. And the song that a perfect closer for this album is He's Mr. Know-It-All. I remember one time I came home from work just aggravated, pissed off, almost like I wanted to quit. I mean, I was not in the best of moods, and I slapped this thing on, and by the end of side one, completely healed up, in a better mood, and then heard the other half of this record, and I was the happiest man on earth. And that's the magical power that this record has for me. I'm sure a lot of people think Songs in the Key of Life is his best record, and it is a good record, but that one does it for me. It just speaks louder to me. I have such a connection with that record, it's insane. Okay, I'm a big fan of Zeppelin, and when I started collecting vinyl, I knew I was going to tear into the Zeppelin catalog, but I didn't know where to start. naturally you're going to start with your favorite, and this is my all-time favorite Zeppelin record, Houses of the Holy. And I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin's album covers, and this is my favorite album cover from Led Zeppelin. Because of the fact that they don't put an artist name, they don't put the name of the record, they don't put any credits whatsoever. They don't even tell you it's Led Zeppelin on here, and I think that is so cool. It's an artistic statement. You can't get this kind of thing on CD, especially during a digital download. This is why you buy vinyl for these. I think this is like the reason why I got into vinyl was for this. My favorite song on here is my all-time favorite Led Zeppelin song, which is the Rain song. It's just, it's one of those songs I listen to. I must have heard the Rain song hundreds of times, and every time I hear it, I'll catch something, either on the guitar, the cymbals, the drums, the vocals, whatever, the mellotron, that I didn't quite catch the other hundreds of times I've heard it. So there's always something new to discover in this song, and as well as this album. The Ocean has to be my second favorite song on here, as well as No Quarter, and the song remains the same. This is just a delight to listen to from start to finish. And when I listen to this album, I just stare. I don't even look at the lyrics. I just stare at this cover for like a good half hour. People probably think I'm on drugs when I look at this thing, but I'm just moved by the cover, and I'm moved by the music and the performance of the band. I really don't like to pick out individual performances. I think as a whole, this is a solid record. Alright, I am a Beatles fan. I wouldn't say I'm a Beatles fanatic, and I only own one Beatles record in my collection so far. I'm sure that'll change the more times I go out and go record shopping. But as far as I'm concerned, I have my all-time favorite Beatle record already. I have the album that makes the Beatles, in my opinion, just my opinion. And that album is Abbey Road. This, to me, is what makes the Beatles the Beatles. This is their anthem record, I guess you could say, because it has every song that I like about the Beatles. This is just my all-time favorite record from them. I've spun Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and In the End probably hundreds of times, and I've only owned this thing a couple of months. And it just never gets old on me. It just inspires. I get lost in this record, especially when I hear Here Comes the Sun, especially when I hear Come Together, Oh Darling, Something. Basically the whole album. I think the one song I could probably do without is probably Octopus's Garden, but even that song to me is okay. This is just the essential Beatles record, and I'm glad I have it. I'm sure I'll get more, but I wanted to start here. Now, I don't per se have a #1 ranked record, but this does come pretty close to being the #1 ranked record in my collection. And it features my favorite side 2 of any album I have in my collection. Who's Next comes the closest because it has an awesome side 2. But I love the side 2. I love this whole record, but side 2 really blows me away. Rocks my world, if you will. And I just have to show it to you. You know what this is. I've been watching your videos, and almost every collector has this. Everybody, and a lot of you have more than one. I only have this one, but this side 2 on this album is like the best side 2 I think I've ever heard. Like I said, Who's Next comes the closest to matching it, but this does it for me. And I mean, look at that. That is awesome. And yeah, that's about all I can say. Brain Damage Eclipse just almost moves me to tears, and I sing along to it every time. I can't help myself. Well, there you go. You got my top dogs in my collection. Obviously, my collection has grown to 98 records, and I can't wait to go out and buy more. And make videos and share them with you guys. I'm really digging this community and having a great time. And thanks to everyone who left comments. I really appreciate it. Alright folks, see you at the next video.